Imagine a team of experienced divers ready to explore the unknown depths of the ocean. They are about to dive into a place that has claimed many before them, Wildrake. The water is cold, the pressure is high, and the stakes could not be higher. But what happens when even the best prepared team meets something they were not ready for? What lies beneath the surface might be more dangerous than they could ever have imagined. Wildrake, a name that sends chills down the spine of every diver who knows its story. Known for its dark, treacherous waters and unexplained disappearances, it's a place where even the most seasoned explorers hesitate to venture. The legends surrounding it are as old as the sea itself. Some say the ocean holds a secret one that takes those who dare to uncover it. And today, this team of divers is about to find out just how real those rumors are. They think they're ready, but the ocean has a way of humbling even the bravest souls. As the team descends into the water, everything seems perfect. The dive is smooth, the water calm, and the excitement builds as they approach their destination. But then, something goes wrong. Small signs too small to notice at first begin to stack up. Equipment malfunctions, the current shifts. A sense of unease fills the air. What started as a routine dive quickly turns into a nightmare, and suddenly, the team is fighting for their lives. Panic sets in. In a place where every second counts, the seconds start slipping away faster than anyone could have imagined. This is just the beginning. To find out what happened to this team, what went wrong, and how this tragedy became a turning point in diving history, make sure to subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss what's coming next. Wildrake is a place that has fascinated divers and explorers for decades. Located deep in the ocean, it's known for its dangerous underwater currents and the mysterious shipwrecks that lie beneath the surface. The wrecks are old, but they hold a strange allure. Divers come from all over the world to explore these sunken vessels, hoping to uncover secrets that have been lost for centuries. But Wildrake is not an easy place to dive. The waters are unpredictable, and the ocean floor is littered with sharp rocks and dangerous drops. Many have tried to explore it and failed. Some came back with incredible stories, while others never returned at all. The team chosen for this mission was no ordinary group of divers. They were seasoned experts, professionals who had seen and survived dangerous dives all over the world. Each member had years of experience, with numerous successful dives behind them. They were prepared for anything the ocean could throw at them. But despite their skill, something about Wildrake had always made even the bravest hesitate. Some felt it was the silence of the place. Others said it was the weight of the past, the feeling that something was waiting beneath the water, ready to pull you under. But the team believed they could handle it. They had been through worse. After all, they had trained for this very moment. Their captain, an experienced diver with over 15 years at sea, had been to Wildrake several times before. He had seen the risks and understood the dangers. He knew the risks of diving into unknown waters, but he also knew how to navigate them. His crew trusted him completely. The team was ready. Everything had been checked, double-checked, and triple-checked. The dive began like any other. The divers slowly descended into the cold, deep water, surrounded by nothing but darkness and the quiet hum of the ocean. At first, everything felt calm. The water was clear, and the divers moved effortlessly, gliding past fish and ancient wrecks. It was exactly what they had hoped for, a peaceful exploration into the unknown. But the deeper they went, the more the ocean seemed to change. The water grew colder, and a strange stillness began to settle around them. It was as if the ocean was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. The team tried to shake off the uneasy feeling, telling themselves it was just nerves. After all, they had been on plenty of dives before, and everything was going as planned. But then came the first sign, small at first, almost unnoticeable. One of the divers felt a slight tug on their equipment. It was just a momentary glitch, something that could have been caused by the water currents. They brushed it off and signaled to continue. Then another diver noticed something strange. His breathing regulator was harder to breathe through than usual. It wasn't a big problem, just a slight resistance. But the pressure was mounting. The current was picking up, stronger than they expected, and pulling them in a direction they hadn't planned. It was subtle but unsettling. The captain looked around, sensing the change in the water, but he said nothing. He didn't want to worry the team. They were experienced. They could handle this. But deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. It wasn't just the water or the currents, it was the feeling in the pit of his stomach. The kind of feeling that told him to turn back. But it was too late for that now. They were too far in. The team tried to stay focused, moving towards the wreckage they had come to explore. But, with every passing minute, the unease grew stronger. They had entered a place where the ocean had a different rhythm, and they weren't sure if they were in control anymore. The deeper they went, the more everything started to spiral out of control. What began as small problems turned into bigger ones, faster than anyone expected. The current wasn't just strong, it was violent, pushing them in all directions. Their carefully planned route was being ripped apart by the water's force. The divers tried to stay calm, but panic was starting to creep in. Then it happened. A loud, sharp noise echoed through the water, followed by the unmistakable feeling of something breaking. One of the divers' equipment, a vital piece that connected them to the surface, had malfunctioned. It was a critical failure, and it happened in an instant. The team member signaled for help, but the others couldn't reach him. The water was too thick, the visibility too low, and the fear too real. With the pressure building around them, everything started to go wrong at once. The team scrambled to react, trying to stay calm, but the ocean was unforgiving. They struggled to reconnect the broken equipment, but every attempt seemed to make things worse. One diver got separated from the group, drifting away in the strong current. The captain, usually so composed, could feel his own heart racing. They were running out of time, and they were beginning to realize that they were in over their heads. The seconds felt like hours. The panic was growing not just in the divers, but in the captain's mind. He knew something was happening, something beyond what he could fix. They had trained for every possible scenario, but nothing could have prepared them for the overwhelming power of the sea. And as the team fought to stay alive, the ocean seemed to grow colder, darker, and more unforgiving with each passing moment. The chaos of the dive had left the team scattered, separated, and in a fight for survival. As the minutes stretched into what felt like hours, the rescue mission was launched. But what should have been a swift operation turned into a dangerous struggle. The waters of Wildrake, already unpredictable, became a nightmare for the rescue teams trying to reach the divers. The currents were so strong that even the most experienced rescuers found themselves fighting just to stay afloat. The ocean, which had already claimed so much, didn't make it easy for anyone to get back to safety. It wasn't until long after that the first of the divers was pulled from the water, gasping for air, shaken but alive. The others, however, were not so lucky. The crew worked tirelessly to search the area, but the ocean had swallowed its secrets, and they were never seen again. The tragedy had struck harder than anyone had expected, leaving behind a grief that couldn't be understood until it was experienced firsthand. Once the wreckage had been recovered and the bodies found, investigators and experts began to search for answers. How had this happened? The team was trained, they had checked their equipment, and they had followed all the safety protocols. What had gone wrong? The investigation revealed that the cause of the tragedy was a series of small, yet critical mistakes. Mistakes that, alone, wouldn't have caused harm, but, together, created a perfect storm. Equipment malfunctions, the unanticipated strength of the current, and a simple miscommunication had compounded into a disaster that no one could have foreseen. And while some questioned whether more could have been done, others wondered if Wildrake was simply a place that no one should ever enter. The tragedy of Wildrake left a scar on the diving community that would never fully heal. While some chose to move forward, others couldn't shake the haunting memory of that day. For those who survived, the lessons were clear. No amount of preparation could ever truly prepare them for the unpredictability of the ocean. The Wildrake disaster taught them that nature is always in control, and no matter how experienced you are, there are forces beyond your understanding. The divers, once fearless, now carry the weight of that day with them, knowing that it only takes one small mistake to change everything.